I think YouTube's messing with me. If I was a bet man, I may have to fade this live again. I don't think this is right. There's no way. Something don't feel right in this part of town. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right or not, if this is not appropriately right. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is coming in fine. What do I know? Wow, I can't believe that worked. The whole setup didn't look right at all, and I just went with it. I'll be damned. Ha! Call this a miracle. This is the first time in the history of YouTube that actually worked what I just did. I'll be darned. Ha! So now you guys are gonna have to bear with me. I apologize. I didn't do anything because I didn't have any faith that that this was gonna work. I apologize. I need to do this what the hell is all this on here? Why does it show this crap? I don't understand. Why is it showing all whatever? Because I clicked on my live. But I want to share this in case somebody wants to join. But I'm going to keep my first 12.5 minutes in that other vertical. So if people miss this, that's the way it has to go. Because there was some information there that I simply cannot repeat. Came in with a point, and most of you were there. So I kept the same title. I'll change the one on the other vertical so people don't get confused. But good evening. 7:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. Take 2. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I did not talk about the Jane Street hedge fund. I mentioned it, I brought it up, but I said I did not want to speak on it until, at least as of earlier, until I had all my ducks in a row, because I like to know all of the facts. So I don't usually run out in front. I like to see the data. And I think some of the biggest criticism sometimes I get is, hey, we've already seen this a day or two ago. So what? The first is the last. If you're first, you're last. You know why? You don't have the benefit of the real information. Congratulations on being first, but if you don't know the truth, who cares? See, what I try to do is I try to avoid pushing rhetoric and push fact. So I have not talked about it, but I'm close to talking about it. But anyhow, I digress. Once I see Emerson in here, hey, at least not in Spanish like everyone was elsewhere on the YouTube today. Ha, that's funny. But I need to see if Emerson finds his way back in here, because he sent a $19.99 super chat when it was in the vertical setting, out of all things. Had a nice message about work not going unnoticed, but he wanted me to talk about Northern Oil and Gas, so I absolutely am going to do that when he comes back in. Bearded Viking, I did happen to see your message right before we logged off about you're going to send me an email soon. I look forward to that email. My offer stands. It's a permanent offer. You don't have to rush into it if you don't want to. But that offer stands, and I don't need to repeat it because I don't want any glory. I want to see you there, if everything is possible. But I would like to pray for not only Bearded Viking's salvation with his, with having to shoulder so much and having to work so much and do all of this, but we have to pray for Marty Marcus for his continued ability to fight the good fight, keep that mental stamina the best way possible. And we pray to Yahweh, Yahshua, Emmanuel, Jesus Christ, for let's say the serenity and the power and the gift to keep pushing each and every day. That's why we ask God for grace. And I know when more than one person speaks our Lord's name, God becomes present, not just in our actions, but in our wishes and prayers if we truly believe. Amen. And then we're going to get on the roll. Man, that Jane Street hedge fund stuff is pretty damn interesting, though. I will give you guys that. Oh, shoot, I forgot to share this to the Telegram now. Son of a bitch. Sorry, guys. I got imprompted because it put it in vertical last time, and I honestly didn't think it was gonna work. I'll be honest. I didn't think this was gonna work because of the way it was, so I didn't even take. I don't think so, YouTube. You're gonna have to try a little harder than that to get me off. I don't think so, YouTube. You're gonna have to try a little harder than that to get me off. I've learned some tricks over 5 years. See, that's the beauty of being here for so long. Who knows if this live's gonna actually work? But man, it's really trying to cut me off. It's really trying to cut me off. Oh, I've learned a few tricks over the years, so it's gonna take a little more than that to get me off the air. 5 years ago, I would have just got kicked off and had no idea what I was doing. But the only thing I would say first of all is it's not technically a hedge fund. It's a bit, I don't know who keeps saying it's a hedge fund, but it's a trading firm. That was the one thing that was throwing me off earlier, especially when I was doing research. So to call it a hedge fund, I don't know if you could say that because a hedge fund doesn't trade their own funds. They trade other people's funds. Oh, now the sound's gone? Oh. Their own funds. They trade. What's wrong with the sound? I can hear the sound. If you guys can't hear the sound, can you guys tell everybody in the comments to restart the live? Oh, it's back. Oh, maybe when I hit that button, it put it back. Yeah, you have to, yes, close and restart. Yep, close it and restart and the sound will come. I told you, YouTube is really trying to, is really trying. So, this isn't the first time when I went into, this is the thing, like, we can look at an incident that's, you know, going on currently, but, and I'm trying to pull it up because I put together something. The India Securities and Exchange Board of India, the SEBI, actually did put out a, I don't know if I want to put out an accusation, but they said an interim order back in like July of 25 accusing them of exact manipulation. But remember, the distinction with the hedge fund is if they're manipulating things via the hedge fund, that means they're using people's investments. The difference between this and that is they're actually using their own assets to do this manipulation. Now, what's going on with NVIDIA? Because when they did this last time, it was on an expiration day. So we had an expiry day, and they legitimately. But then again, are they causing this, or is this just the next domino to fall in the next blame game? Like I don't. It doesn't smell right to me. Is all I'm saying. I think we can put a label on all we want, but I think it goes deeper than that. If I'm being honest. And let's see, Jane's. The one thing we need to look is. So Jane Street. Ah, crap. Since everybody keeps asking, Street trading firm. What's the available liquidity? I'm just curious real quick. Because I know the bonds, yada, 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 fixed income, 16,000 bonds globally with over 400 billion. So they took about 10%, which was 40 billion. I'm trying to find the right one that we could read. I would not be surprised if they were part of the whole UST, the whole Terra Luna. I mean, the funny thing about UST is I told my audience very clearly, anybody who puts their money in that stablecoin is going to lose it all. I guaranteed it. I don't guarantee much, but if you go back to those videos before that whole thing went down, I'm not talking about months before, which I was talking. I literally put out a warning the week before that whole thing happened. Yeah, I know it sucks because everybody's leaving because it froze on everybody because YouTube tried to, I don't know, shut it down right when I brought this up. So, this is the allegation. And this goes back to Terraform, and we know what happened there back in 22. So, why isn't this firm, why isn't the leader of this sitting behind bars? Oh, that's right. We'll find out that in a second. The big players, huh? Jane Street's 40 billion liquidity play, flow analysis of alleged front running. So Jane Street faces claims of front running Terraform Labs 2022 UST, and that was like the the UST. That's just that's kind of, it's not cool. But anyhow, I know a lot of people, we got to let this shuffle out because a lot of people are leaving because obviously it froze on them and they're not knowing to reset. But let's just talk about this so I can get on to what I want to get on to. Allegedly exploiting. So Jane Street faces claims of front-running Terraform Labs 2022 UST withdrawals, allegedly exploiting non-profit info to profit as the $40 billion crypto crash unfolded. Current patterns show Jane Street dumping Bitcoin daily at 10 a.m. Eastern Time by ETFs while aggressively accumulating MicroStrategy, contrasting peer MSTR divestments. Legal outcome hinges on defining material, non-public info, and decentralized Isn't this the whole reason I hate ETFs? You give them too much power. I told you, they're using crypto as exit liquidity. And this is the perfect example of it. And like, I haven't spoke on it for days because I didn't want to speak on it. But, you know, now is probably the right time. So the lawsuit centers on a specific high-stakes flow event that allegedly accelerated the 2022 crash. On May 7th, 2020. So let me ask you a question. Why is FBF in jail still with all the information I gave you guys? Shouldn't be. A $1.6 billion investment turned into anywhere between 40 and 80 billion of his users' funds. They don't get that money back because the government secretly liquidated it all, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Terraform Labs quietly withdrew 150 million UST from Curve 3 pool. Minutes later, a wallet linked to Jane Street withdrew 85 million UST from the same pool. The estate claims the sequence occurrence before any public disclosure was not coincidence but frowning. Can I ask anybody a real honest question? And we're just talking here. Does anybody find the timing of this complete horseshit that they would release all of this? Ask yourself the question, why would this news come out now? Just like how everybody's focused on Trump with Epstein. He was president for 4 years already. Don't you think if there was any news here that should have been news, that was anything different, it would have come out then? There's a reason for everything, everybody. Oh, I'm sure, Nick. I'm sure it's coincidental. Wink, wink. But Nick, I hope you're doing very well, my friend. I'm very blessed to have you as a very trusted mod in here and very helpful in this community. It's an odd coincidence. Let me tell you, it's an odd coincidence. The estate claims this sequence occurring before any public disclosure was not coincidence, but front running. The timing is critical. You know, what if one day they said that I'm getting inside information because I'm able to move the market, or I'm able to predict the market movement before it happens? The only good thing is I don't have the funding, so I don't have enough ability to do that. But I can make it look like I'm a magician. The timing is critical. The administrator alleges Jane Street used material non-public information from Terraform insiders to unwind exposure and profit as the ecosystem collapsed. The alleged action is said to have triggered the market panic that led to the stablecoin's loss of its dollar peg. Like Popeye would say. If anybody wants to believe this, it's up to you. You can believe whatever you want. I don't buy this for a second. a key catalyst in the 40 billion market wipeout. Okay. The case hinges on the flow of liquidity and the perceived advantage gained from private information. What do we look like, fools? That's what every single big company does. Give me a break. By moving for, isn't MicroStrategy gaining from private information that they know? Isn't Michael Saylor doing something that's outlawed? He can't openly promote. He's not an asset manager. He's not allowed to promote a product and tell you how good it is. Isn't that fraud, what he's doing? If I did that, I'd go to jail. And I'm just a small timer. So what are we really talking about here? If we want to be honest, let's be honest. You want to bring all the ducks in a row, let's line them up. The case hinges on the flow of liquidity and perceived advantage gained from private information. By moving first on known liquidity withdrawal. Okay, so if that's the case, why is Nancy Pelosi and every politician not behind bars? Why is Trump still president? And I mean, I don't care about politics, so please let me know. If that's the case, every single Trump and every single insider should be in jail. Every single I mean, come on now. Is this really what we're blaming the UST crash on? This is what we have to believe now? Was it a get out of jail free for the Terra coin? Jane Street is accused of exploiting its market relationship to rig the market in its favor. Who doesn't? You tell me one big player that doesn't. That's why it's our job to be able to read what's going between the lines. We have to read because we don't have this advantage. Ripple does the same thing every month. You're going to throw them behind bars? I mean, come on. They're going to use this for the Clarity Act. Open your damn eyes. That's what this is. How convenient of timing to push the... Oh my God, it makes such perfect sense. This is how they get the Clarity Act passed. By God, they did it. They just passed the Clarity Act with this. It's a 100% certainty. That's what it is. I think that's the reason I didn't want to talk about this, because in the back of my mind, I knew exactly why this was happening. Holy crap. Frankie Fresh, welcome in, brother. I missed you. You and Janine. Janine, I hope you're blessed this evening as well. I missed you both dearly. I'm so glad to see you in here. Like, literally, you just made my night that much better. Hold on, let me continue before I forget. So, the case hinges on the flow of liquidity and the perceived advantage gained from private information. By moving first on a known liquidity withdrawal, Jane Street is accused of exploiting its market relationship to rig the market in its favor during one of crypto's most consequential events. So the firm's current trading flows reveal a pattern that is both aggressive and unusual. In late 25 and early 26, Jane Street executed a clear strategy. It allegedly dumped Bitcoin every morning at 10 a.m. Hold on, I'll make a correlation and ask you another question. We're just talking, remember? Dump Bitcoin every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, coinciding with the U.S. stock market open, which confirms what we've seen, manipulation that happens around 9:30, 10 a.m. every single day. We talk about it for how long? This timing aligns with its role as an authorized participant in a major Bitcoin ETFs, a position that allows it to create and redeem shares. The effect was a sharp, cyclical price drop, wiping out long positions before recovery. JP Morgan, silver, they opened up a short, a put, 45 minutes before the market dropped. Within $2 of the high, they had it open, and they closed it within $3 of the bottom. And then they bought physical silver. Isn't that the same thing? They rigged the market down so they could buy the bullion cheaper. I mean, who are we kidding right now? Why isn't everybody not in jail? I told you, once you go regulated, you think this is bad now? At least it's orchestrated. Once they regulate this via that Clarity Act, you might as well just pack your bags, because it's going to be a whole different cycle, Bo. It's going to be different. You think this, oh, it's going to be different. The first time they halt crypto, everybody's going to be crying in my audience saying, what the hell is going on? I thought crypto couldn't be. Well, you wanted the Clarity Act, didn't you? It's firmly written in that they can do whatever they seem necessary. Remember, an unnatural event, they're going to claim on everything. Well, the price shouldn't be moving. That's an inconsistency. There's no way this much is going up. At the same time, Jane Street was quietly building a massive position in MicroStrategy. The firm's Q4 20. Hold on, this is even funnier when you look at this. The firm's Q4 2025 SEC filing showed a 473% boost. You want me to believe this shit? Listen, they want you to believe this garbage. At the same time, Jane Street was quietly building a massive position in MicroStrategy. The firm's Q4, 2025 SEC filing showed a 473% boost, now holding 951,187 shares, worth $121 million. This is a start. So hold on. And this is what retail won't do, but I will. I may be retail, but I'm more aligned with the asset managers. Believe me, I'm not an idiot. Not even fucking close. You gotta wake up pretty goddamn early to fool me, and I barely sleep. So try figuring out what time you're gonna wake up. You want me to believe that these pieces of garbage did all of this by Q4 and they were buying into that top? And you want me to believe that they have this big strategy and they're down 75% from the top? I don't know about you, but that doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay? Zero. So they're selling their Bitcoin to lose 75% from the top. This is all bullshit. Sorry, I don't want to swear, but this is the nonsensical shit I talk about. Why crypto's almost impossible to trade in these days. Outside of understanding, because we, as a community, understand so deep. Well, that was 24. I'm sorry. Let's go into 25. July. So they were buying Q3 into 4. They reported it in 4. October. So they're buying this whole thing because by Q4 they piled up. Just listen what it said. It wasn't just a purchase at 25. By Q4 of 25, the SEC filed a 473% boost in shares. That means in this entire top, they were buying the whole top. That's so even if they were lucky, because if they reported in Q4, it already had to be done by now. It had to be done before Q4 if it was a Q4 filing, after all. So somewhere in here, they had a 470% increase in shares. Hello, how do you think it rose like this? Not because, listen, and you have to dig deeper. Let's cut the shit. How did MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor get the proper valuation to continue to buy the bullshit Bitcoin and rise the price artificially? Because the valuation of this went up so much, they were able to leverage this piece of shit company. Holy crap, do we have the smoking gun now to prove our point. Crypto is toast. It's cooked. It's cooked. My conspiracy just got proven with all of this. 100%. So they bought this entire time. This is all them. They caused this. So then they diluted it through common shares and through all of the raised valuations. They were able to raise capital through this company because of how high it went. And they said it was because it was a Bitcoin strategic reserve, remember, and that's why the company was going up. Turns out it wasn't because of the correlation with Bitcoin. It was an artificial manipulated move by multiple companies, probably run by the government, to orchestrate the biggest Ponzi in the history of Ponzi. That's why I didn't want to talk about this originally, because I know how to connect the dots properly. And it took me time to fully connect what I wanted. It's not by accident I watch this chart every single day, folks. It's not by accident I watch Tom Lee's BitMine it's not by, this isn't, all this happens by design. Big shoulder, topping reversal, right shoulder, good night, sweetheart. It's been a nice ride. Unless we have a miracle of all miracles and they do something here. Because what's going to happen is you might get an exit pump. You might get something extraordinary. that happens if they want to. No, Trump, if he if he ever watched my stuff, he'd come on and say, you know, that XRP Future Millionaire was quite a dumbass. He's not even, he has no formal education for this, and he spews a bunch of nonsense, and we can't help that he's losing money. He doesn't want to win. I'm so tired of winning. I thought to win, you had to be on top. I also thought to win, you couldn't be down. You couldn't be the loser. Anyhow, if this isn't hitting home, it should, because you just witnessed how they pumped crypto artificially. You got your smoking gun, folks, and they're going to use this to pass the Clarity Act. You don't need crypto if this is the case, unless you do it the way I say. You're not chasing tops. You're not hunting the falling knife until it's proper. And there's opportunity that we've had for a few days. I am currently in a position. You all know which one it is. It hasn't done dick. Well, it's done something. I can't say it hasn't done dick. But it's XDC right now. And I put out the parameters. I don't even have to say anything. That's what I'm expecting if it breaks out. If it breaks down below that red line, good night. It's your risk reward right there from where it was at this morning. Well, it was a little bit lower. Well, it was kind of close. I bought it on the bottom where I'm still thinking it's a B wave in the C, because it seems like it still needs one more expansive wave out, even if it's an ABC. But we got our smoking gun. Are we liquidating? I was liquid. I'm not liquid today because I have XDC from yesterday when it hit that support structure. But that's the only thing. I didn't buy a whole bunch of stuff. I said I'm going to ride XDC in a little swing here, see what happens. And then if it breaks this little red line, I bought it. It's basically a moot point if it washes me out. But, okay. So, Smack, what happened is let's just put it this way. I'll build the dots for you. So, Jane Street is basically being put on the stand. Okay, they're basically being blamed for massive manipulation. So what they did was they were selling Bitcoin. I don't need to look at this. They were selling Bitcoin. I don't need somebody else's nonsense when I already know what I'm talking about. They were selling Bitcoin, and this is this part of it. So they're being blamed for the 2022 UT Terra coin, the Terra stable coin collapse, which that's another bunch. We already know why that collapsed. And there was an imbalance that they fed into, believe me. Somebody had to do it, and it was multiple people, not just them. But for this part of it, Jane Street sold Bitcoin, and just hear me out. They sold Bitcoin to create capital to buy MicroStrategy. However, they were buying it up until before the Q4 when they had to report it going into Q4, which means that they bought with the sold Bitcoin, and just hear this out, they bought with the sold Bitcoin, and for probably a good year, they were buying this to the eventual top and below. They reported it for Q4, which starts somewhere around here. So they couldn't have bought it here. It was already reported. Which means they bought this entire thing. Well, what ended up happening is Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy was able to get more loan for this company based on valuation. So basically, Jane Street sold Bitcoin, bought MicroStrategy large amounts, forced the price up. They got a higher valuation. They were given a loan to buy Bitcoin. Then Bitcoin would start to go up. They were able to get more. They started selling common shares of this shit company because the valuation was so high. And they orchestrated the single biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of this country, and nobody cares. Not a single person. I've not heard one person push this angle. Not one. How many people have talked about this that you've watched? I'm just curious. We can be honest here, and I don't watch anybody, so what do I know? How many people have talked about what I just talked about, made this connection? Anybody? When I say I know my shit, I know my shit. Because I don't listen to anybody else's. And there's got to be a few people. Nick says there's a few people. I take his word. I know there's got to be somebody else who reads between the BS. There has to be. I know I'm not the only sane person left in this world. Because there's all of you here too. Gives me a lot of faith. I remember Define brought hymns to me. I said, please, don't buy this. I'll even put an uptrend where you can start looking at it. And I think back then, and Define didn't buy it to his credit. He listened. And it was way up here when he brought it to me. I mean, way up here. And it consolidated down, and I said, listen, you're going to be exit liquidity. That is not buying a dip. Comes back up here. Think that's by accident? No. You think I put that uptrend there by accident to maybe take a shot? No, not at all. Did it come close? It did. That was just my own projection that it could come there. Yeah, 75.5% down. And that's not even the top of this run in 25. So ask yourself, what is really going on across these markets? I can tell you for a fact that Bitcoin manipulation, oh boy. I am the shiitake. I love it. I take what is almost like a shiitake mushroom. So maybe I'm turning into one. No, thank you, Mrs. Stott. I really appreciate that so much. We've got the golden ticket. Nobody can lie to us. Everybody walks around so blindly. We just sit here and get pissed. You haven't seen nothing yet. If what I think is right, you haven't seen nothing yet. We talked about how we had to have an exit pump. Some kind of pump before another drop. Now with all of this, I don't even know if I really want to. Although this is the fear that would cause people to get out. So I'm going to let this play. And this is not a leverage trade. As you can see, it's 1x. From where it was at this morning, it was about a 4.29% risk to try to make that. It's a 6.67 to 1, roughly, from where it was at this morning. It's a 28.6% reward compared to a 4% risk. My risk reward, as I was very transparent, is 1.8% to the downside. And that's if I let it play past where it chose B. So, I'm in a good spot right now. The shiitake. I love that. This is why I listen to your shit, Tom. You are the shiitake. I love it so much. She pronounces it exactly like that. Oh, welcome to Mr. Stott too, Mr. and Mrs. Stott. See, validation. I love it. I love it. Hi, Tom. Is Polygon worth buying? Not for me in any circumstance because they're the purveyors of the digital ID for crypto in the world. So no, they can suck my you-know-what, my shkololis. I used to like Polygon until they did that. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously everybody's own justification, but I can't invest in the digital ID people. I can invest in a lot of things, but I'm not investing in that. I won't invest personally in the mark of the beast. Even though XRP is part of the system. Oh yeah, I did. I came on and I said, listen, I got to finish my workout now because I don't want to get too over animated. And it ended up being the best live I've probably ever done this morning. My class was easily the best class I've ever had. They do. No, Nick, they do. They absolutely do. They are basically the digital ID framework for the Internet of Things. They are the single entity that is going to force us to have a digital card or a digital blueprint via the IoT tokens. Oh no, Nick, you're fantastic. You already put in so much time. I got the class covered, my brother, and I appreciate it. And I would have took you up on your offer, believe me. But I got it. I'm a very, very persistent I'm very dedicated, and the amount of work I put into that, it would knock everybody's socks off if they were in it. They didn't just create it, they've been building it since 2013. It's almost like we knew this was happening without knowing it was happening, right? Now, what this means, I'm telling you, this get ugly quick. This could get ugly quick. If all of this, and you know what's funny? I actually kind of like what XDC did today. I don't like the way it looks now, but I liked what it did starting because it gives it a chance to continue up one more layer. But just understand, if that line in the sand is broken, not you nor anybody else should you be sticking your neck out for any crypto, okay? Just be honest here. We don't owe crypto anything, and crypto doesn't owe us anything, but it owes us a hell of a lot for the time wasted. Good thing about XDC, at least for the time being, is it's reshaped, and we're about to have a moment of truth. Is this the local rejection, or is this where it kind of takes something back and we start making a C push? With everything coming out, Joe America, so we're out. I don't know where you've been, but I've been out. I'm only in XDC for the most part right now, as you know. Well, there's other variables, and you got to read between the lines. But as far as in the moment, yeah, XDC, I didn't buy 15 things when I bought this return rally. Is it going to pan out? Probably not. I have the hope that we're going up there still, and we're going to get this push because I firmly believe that that's set up like that. Just like with XRP, I know it looks bad right now, and that's how it's supposed to look. But I still am not convinced that we're not coming up for one more thing. Now, obviously, we have to get over this level, but I'm not convinced unless it's a runaway gap, and we're not going to hit it, until the way back up. Tom, what do you think the overseas market will do tonight? No, I own XRP after the drop down when it went down to that $1.18 to a $1.11 push. But that doesn't mean I'm going to keep holding it forward. I've been a very big proponent of swinging now when I have to get out. I just happen to have XRP right now because of the big drop. And I told everybody where I was going to rebuy in the targeted area for the ABC corrective wave. Now, I don't know if it's doing a D to E, and that's the only reason right now that I'm holding it. Because it held that support. And I'm still not convinced it's not coming up there to the CME. So I don't mind breaking even and selling it back out from the recent. So, wait a minute. I shared XRP chart for you to look at. Oh, excellent, Nick. I'm more than willing to look at this. Let me move this in now so I can read. You wouldn't believe how many of these pieces of garbage are reaching out to me to do advertising now and are trying to get me to promote their nonsense. Oh, it's driving me nuts. Let's see. Oh, Nick. Nick. Okay. Oh, this makes me feel so much better, Nick. You want to know why? Look where your FVGs are right there, where you targeted it. And I'm going to go back to your chart. I have a gap that was left here from a while ago. I think it was a CME up there at around $1.70. Unless I misrepresented it and it was actually an FVG. It's very possible it could have because I do a lot of stuff on here. Now I can't remember. I just know there was a firm gap there in that $1.70 and extended out near that $1.77. Now I'm thinking maybe it was the FVG. But I know we had a closure up here in the CME at $1.70 several weeks back that was never filled. So there's an FVG within the CME? Is that right, Nick? It's the FVG. Okay, so it was the FVG. I was going to say, I think this is misrepresented. I think it was an FVG. So I was saying, I think because I have them on two different charts. I think that's supposed to be an FVG. Wait a minute. Oh, Garrus. This is Jordan Junkie. Oh, it's both. Okay. That makes more sense. I thought there was one at 170. Okay. This makes it even more freaking unbelievable that we might, in fact, have to come up there at some point here in the near future. It's one thing if it's just a CME, but the fact there's that fair value gap there as well, it's going to be very unlikely we don't fill that. At some point as a bearish rejection, even if it's going to go farther. It closed at $1.75. CME gap at $1.75. It closed at $1.75. We're inside of a monthly FVG currently, as well as bi-weekly, etc. with that CME. It's unbelievable, actually, what's going on here. Nick, I'm going to go back to your chart. I just want to write this in a different way. Let's see. This is not as, this is pretty unique situation here. You don't see this every day, honestly. What this would suggest to me is we have an overall dynamic that's building. But yeah, I'm going to go, I want to look at Nick's chart and look at it in depth. So that bottom at $1.229 is very important as well, because in that descending pattern, that's exactly where it can extend down right into that range. It's brilliant. I told you, there's a few people that make me feel so much better about what I do on a daily basis, and Nick is definitely one of them. And that's Furby Trades in here, so you know. So, all right. Now the cool thing about this, Nick, is that I can use my paintbrush and I can draw. Oh, shoot. I don't want that particular one. I want to be able to delete. Ah, crap. Which one is it? Well, I can delete. Oh, that's not deleting it. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to clear out. Oh, wait a minute. I can just do it like that. Excellent. Okay. Let's see what we're working with here. And thank you, Nick, for sending us beautifulness. Okay. Whoops. So we're currently within, it's got a little bit of an area here. We'd have to watch for the lower areas. We've pushed up, came right into the daily. Where's the 2 week? 158, which is perfectly symmetrical to the $1.56 area where that descending triangle was. So you'd have to get on top of that to hit that, which would make perfect sense if you're trying to invalidate, at least in the short term, that further drop. And then these are what I'm very impressed with. Daily FVG, monthly FVG, daily FVG, even higher. And right now, these would be considered bearish FVGs because you're coming from the bottom side. So you're looking for a full-out rejection. If we come back up there again, I'm not convinced that it can't drive through and at least push that $2.03 area, which I'm going to assume here is pretty damn... Oh, yeah, it is. Look at those areas. I would be shocked if it wouldn't push into here. Now, coming up here would be interesting because once you get over $2.02, technically, you start to change the bias from bearish to bullish. But because of Nick's diligence... Let me clear this. Because of Nick's diligence, you can see it's not just cut and dry. Even though 203 would get me thinking, actually, once you get over $1.77 and hold, I start to think a little different. But you got to get over this part right here at about 203 for me to be like, okay, we've got a chance. However, let's not overreact because this right here I was overlooking. Nick, if you don't mind, I'm going to put that I'm going to put that FVG on my chart at about $2.20 so I don't forget. I wasn't even considering that area. Actually, I'm not going to put it on my chart yet. I'm going to keep your chart. You know what? I got a better idea. Nick, I think this would be I'm going to save this, and I'm going to create a dual chart for when I come on next time. And every time I pull it up, I'm going to pull up this particular chart and say, Nick has reminded us when we go over that $2.03 level, especially, you got two areas. One, which I'm assuming this would be around 210-ish, and ultimately $2.20 that are over the top resistance areas, even if we can overtake the other levels. This is its weight in gold. I encourage you, if Nick doesn't mind, well, he probably doesn't because he's letting me show it, because he's trying to share information, screenshot this and don't lose it. So you shouldn't have just sold your XRP. We don't know. You technically sold on a resistance, but there are these possibilities of going. There's no guarantee this happens. These are just the FVGC. These also can stay open for very long lengths of time until the market's ready to flip. So, oh, thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much. So no, there's no way of actually knowing that, but what you did was at least you sold the resistance in the area. Now, is it going to be nerve-wracking? It might be, because we've got all this stuff left open, but at the same time, you just don't know. It's a gut decision. But, like, I'm not a financial advisor, so, you know, I can only do what I do. But I definitely see a small possibility here. And this whole area where he's got it green, I kind of like that because that's more of a bullish opportunity than over the top. You got to flip that red. We haven't technically flipped this green into red yet, so there's still an opportunity to not let that happen. Where we're at right now is a cause for concern because being under this level, I'm going to be honest, right here, not there, right here, leaves you underneath that descending triangle, and there's no good that can come of that if we stay under there for too long. Well, you sold at $1.44. Now you look like a genius. You know why? Because it's below your sell price. I know when it went to $1.49, you were nervous. That means that you were not ready to sell. So just like emotion goes, when you're nervous, you have anxiety and all of that, when you're holding a position that's going down, if you sell and you've got that same, oh crap, I think it can still go up, that means that you sold out of fear, but technically you weren't ready to let it go. And I understand that too. I'm not justifying for you to rebuy it. I'm just saying that's a great learning experience for yourself because your nervous system was saying, I'm not comfortable selling it here. And you only know that because when you sold it, you have this anxiety when it went up. I'm not immune to that. I'm not immune to not having that anxiety myself in moments. Trust me. In 2021, when I sold XRP at $1.66, and I didn't buy it at 52 cents, and I went to other routes because I didn't want to buy it until it went to that 34 cent. Well, I didn't know. I thought it was going to be somewhere, could have been sub 20, but the way it took, it ended up being 28 and a half, and ultimately 34 cents was the bargain buy. It ended up going from 52 cents to like $1.34 or whatever it was, $1.21 to $1.34 range, I believe it was. And yeah, I might have bought other things, but I had to sit there too. And you want to talk about anxiety? When I'm telling the whole audience not to buy until sub 40, and I called 52 cents for the drop, that initial drop, and it hit it to the nuts. But I had a different play. I bought something else begrudgingly to the audience when I bought it, but it outperformed XRP in that movement. So I had paid off, but the audience wasn't very happy. The little audience I had at the time. But I just stuck to my guns. I'm telling you right now, guys, every time we talk about the possibility of a pump up right now, we are still in a downtrend. So until it breaks those key levels, especially what Nick just showed, until you get above this level, it's bearish. No matter if it shoots up real quick, it's bearish. Until it gets up here, holds, and allows you to go and corrects, and you do it step by step. You can't just go all the way up here, otherwise it's going to come all the way back down just to try to go back up. Like, you can't just do that. You don't want to do that. So basically, Nick, like I've been saying it, Nick is the gatekeeper. Him, MQ, they can be your last line of defense if you don't know what you're doing, especially. Got to look at that. Even if we break the key area that I really want to break, and it's going to take a lot. These are micro, so these will be easier to get through. However, are you going to run out of steam by the time you get up here? Because a fear would be that it starts shouldering into a head, into a shoulder, and back down farther than we started. And it takes out all these levels bearishly. That would be the worst case scenario, in my opinion. Because then you'd have the ultimate confirmation, especially if you had a quick drop. I wouldn't want to see that. Now, good scenario would be, okay, well, we did create that lower low, right? Before the ABC up. So by creating that lower low, we start pushing up. We get above here. We dick around for a bit, come up, start doing this in a profound way. Start to create something. You don't really want to have a rising channel, but you know what it's. My other fear is, does it meet something like this, and then it ends up just being in a rising wedge in the end as well. So there's no way to really know that till it happens. I do like the fact that you have a shoulder, head, extended double bottom on another shoulder possibly. This was a bearish candle. However, if it comes up any farther, it could invalidate that pull down. There's so much going on here. What a great chart. What a time to be alive. Thank you so much, Nick. But it don't feel good right now. With what's happening in the market, don't feel right. It doesn't feel good at all. And I wouldn't be so willing to just throw my money around if I was everybody, unless you have a very, very defined understanding of what you want to do. Especially with what's going on right now. With all the stuff that keeps coming out. Now, we do have the daily futures that's closed. So, oh, I'm sorry, not the daily futures, not Friday. What the hell am I talking about? It's only Wednesday. Forget what I just said. Strike that from the record. Oh, I'm thinking it's Friday in my head. I don't know why. Maybe I worked too hard. But the futures, I mean, it's working on a breakout right now in the futures, technically. And we have a slightly descending kind of formation here. Could one make the case that that could have been a descending wedge for me? I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it because it still looks like a inverse pattern. And now we're on the top side of this inverse pattern. We're outside of the trading day, however, the futures market, so we'll get back into the futures soon. What's going on here? What does this say? From contract XRPH to contract XRPJ. XRPG to XRPH. XRPF to XRPG. Am I in the fucking alphabet? Ooh, this is going to be a tricky ride. It's going to be a tricky ride. Watch out, Ghost. My cat, sometimes. She was clawing. What did you say? Householder said, I went in on last drop, got a few Solana, XRP, XLM, H-bar. I'm debating on selling another 15%. I'm never going to tell you what to do. But you're in a tricky spot. We're up at resistance. So you have to make a decision almost in a quick fashion to avoid a weird thing. But in my personal opinion, I would wait for that probably $1.40 area to give way. Because right now we broke back within that symmetrical triangle. And it does lead the possibility, small possibility at that we could break out of this area and start hunting those CME and FVG areas. So don't sell yourself short. But at the same time, if it's just 15% of it and you're trying to, let's just say if you're trying to layer out, or scale out, we call it, it's not a bad play. You got resistance. Ooh, 72. Oh, what is Solana at right now? I can't remember. I don't look at Solana daily because it's just the biggest pump and dump coin by the market makers. So I don't like to be involved with that particular token. Okay, you got room, at least. You got a little bit of room. It's good to see you got room. You made a good buy when you did it. It's all an illusion. Welcome in, my friend. And thank you for being in Town Center for over 1 year with Carl as well. Sorry, I can't get to all the comments. We had a little bit of technical drama from YouTube at the start, so it kind of put me, in a weird spot. Sell the trap rally. This eclipse is going to rock the market on 3-3. No doubt. It might rock other things and not just the market. I've never been so convinced about something in my life. Living on this planet, we're enslaved in a weird way that it had to be such a master strategy to do it like this. Think about it. We get up, go to work, come home, watch a little TV. I'm just talking about the average person. Make yourself some dinner, go to bed, get up and do it for infinity. What's the difference? So they give you a little bit of freedom based on how much you have in your bank account. Give you a little bit of freedom of here's your little piece of land, here's your little house or big house, depending on what you want or what you can afford. I don't want anything big. So even if I'm a billionaire, I'm still living in the same small ass house. I'll just have a place to go to in the summer. How about that? I can cover my 6 a lot easier in this house than I can somewhere else. Now, the other question is, am I supposed to have this back window open behind me if I'm covering my 6? I also harder than you. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. What a generous audience we have here. The generous audience. I can't believe we're going to do over an hour here after we did an initial 15. Had to restart and all the drama. This is awesome, actually. What was I trying to say? Literally living in the Matrix, not like the movie, but yes, it sucks. You're right about that, Nick. It's not like the Matrix, but it certainly rhymes. Has anybody ever seen the series? It was only 3 seasons, but it's called Colony. Out of curiosity, is there anybody who's familiar with that show? I think March. Jason says tired, brother. I think a lot of us are. I think a lot of us are getting to a point. Bearded Viking has seen it with the wife. I'll give the wife my love as well, Bearded Viking. Don't get to put her in the blessings so much. I don't know why I don't do that. I'm glad you said your wife. It's my bad. Well, basically, in Colony, an alien race, basically, which it's pretty interesting how they do it, but they overtake and they put little segments into colonies and they put these like 300-foot walls up and there's drones flying everywhere, but different than you would expect. And they lock you up based on and it sucks. They have a Rolodex, they call it. And it's got everybody's information on it. Everybody's. From the last time you stubbed your toe, basically. And they colonize you based on your expertise. And nobody gets to see the higher ups. Nobody really gets to see anybody. And they just call them high-level VIPs, basically. And these high-level VIPs is the alien race. And what ends up happening is they became enslaved within the colonies. And you've got certain sectors. And what ends up happening as the show goes on by season, you get filled in more in season 2 what actually happened at the time of the arrival. But they teach the kids indoctrination about why it's good. They teach them the order to the point where now the kids start to disagree with their parents, let's just say, because they're being taught about the arrival and the great, what did they call it? The great, they had a word for it. The great something, shit, I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, it's a great show. It makes you think. I'm actually watching it again now. I just got it back in, I think, the season 2. I don't remember what episode now, but I've been watching it when everybody goes to bed. Because I like to fall asleep with that kind of stuff on my mind because I have wild dreams. Just wild dreams. But yeah, it makes you think a little bit. But with what's going on in the world, I'm convinced that they strategically placed us, and we are in a worker society. Like, there's no doubt about it. For whatever reason, we're here to work. You know, and there's wrinkles in the armor. Oh, congratulations, Bearded Viking. 10 years on Saturday. Holy smokes. Wow. Congratulations. Yeah, I would definitely take a look at the show. It's pretty cool. Like, if you have Amazon, if you pay for Amazon Prime, it's included. You get the Amazon streaming service. It's free to watch, and there's no commercials. Some things on Amazon, they screw you over, but although I think I pay an extra like $5 a month not to watch ads, even though there's ads, so I stopped doing that. So it just comes with my Amazon. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting show if you want to. Then you have the resistance, you know, that doesn't want to go along with it and things like that. So it does a pretty decent job. But they can't. I think they canceled it after 3 seasons for good reason because they didn't. I think they were getting too close to something. Weed shuts your dreams down. Well, that's the funny thing. I haven't smoked since Saturday because of an experience. Because I feel like they're poisoning us through the cannabis at the dispensary. So I have not smoked for the first time voluntarily in 25 years. When it was my control. When I didn't have any money, I wouldn't buy it because I wasn't going to sacrifice my living to smoke cannabis unless I grew it. So, but yeah, I haven't smoked since Saturday, believe it or not. I got really sick from it. I could taste artificial chemicals. It burns weird, smells weird. Bought it Friday, and this isn't the first time. So, Bearded Viking, I'm a month off weed, and I've smoked for 30 years. Yep, so you understand, Bearded Viking, how it goes. The only time, like in 24, I stopped for almost a month because my son was hospitalized. I didn't want to smoke. And then when I first met Julie, we didn't smoke for a long time. I mean, we would if we had a little bit of money, but I wouldn't spend money on it. I never spent money on it that I didn't have. But yeah, it's the reason why I've stopped. Unless I grow it or some beautiful soul from my audience who grows it wants to send it as somebody's offered when it's time. But it's a weird thing though. Like Bearded Viking, like you're saying, not smoking the last 3 days. The stuff is not this. Actually, it's Saturday from like 1 p.m. So Sunday, Monday. Yeah, so it's been over 3 days now. Wow. I'll tell you what. I don't know what they're lacing it with these days, and I don't know if they're putting fentanyl. Well, I'm sure they're putting it in some. I'm not sure that's what's found its way to Michigan, but there is something not right there. Been saying it for a long time, and just the recent things that I've noticed, it really threw me off to it. And I love cannabis. I love, because I believe it was put on the earth if proper, as a real way to have some self-soothing. But I haven't seen Emerson yet. I kind of held out here because I wanted to show Emerson Northern Oil and Gas. But I haven't seen him in this live, unfortunately. He was in the vertical one. Creamy Goodness says, the word of the day is collateral. The saying of the day is place the blame on private credit. And the stage we are playing is the midterm elections. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I do like that a lot. Well said. We got a beautiful audience here. So I'm trying to see if anything broke down more than like 1%, but nothing has yet. And Ethereum broke out, at least the first layer. Now we're projecting that this would build a bigger, probably bearish pennant unless it gets over, but that gave us the upward run up to almost 2172 just by looking at it like this. Back test will be around 2000 to see if we can hold it, but it's the pesticides and spray THC for the added potency. Can't confirm or deny how I know, but trust. I know exactly what you know in that regard. Exactly what you're talking about. I'm very experienced grower too, so I know a thing or two. And I'm not talking about just throwing it outside. I'm talking about back in the heyday of, especially when first medical cards, when you had to grow in a house with the lights. Bam. I think, yeah, what you said is 100%. It's also why they keep trying to push more. If you've noticed in dispensaries, they want you to buy the, what do they call it? I'm having a brain fart now. But they want you to buy the cannabis that is, it has, damn it, what the hell is it called? It is Furby, and I can't grow inside because of the kids and stuff. So the only time I can do it is in the summertime outside. Not the oil. Oh no, never smoke the pens. Never use the pens. For one, your body's not to smoke. It's not, your lungs are not made to smoke steam or any kind of vapor. I hate telling people that because my whole family basically smokes those pens. I refuse. Delta 89 is something into this, but there's a particular word for it. Hold on, let me see if I have something lying around so I can get this word. Oh, I got it. I don't even need to look. Infused. Sorry. They call it infused cannabis for the higher THC potency. And I 100% guarantee every one of those infused ones, like, who said that? I hustle harder than you. 100%. That's exactly what they're doing to that. I can 100% guarantee that's how you get the infused. And that's how we get. I agree with you. Let's just say I know. I've also have. Yes, I agree. I vape nicotine. I hate it, but I can't smoke cigs at work. That's That's yeah. That's definitely something that a lot of people do too. Is the vapor for the cigs now, especially at work, is something. There's some risks that go there because I mean the popcorn lung, if you believe that or not, but there's just things with the body. But you know what? If I'm being honest, we don't really know the effects of a lot of this stuff, how deep it is, but we also don't know how much of it's affected by environment because they do a lot of things that I don't want to talk about because I love this community too much to get banned. Um, Wait a minute, what happened with CJ2 Pilot? Hold on, I gotta go back. CJ2 Pilot, I gotta see this comment. I'm going up. Tom, you said yesterday that XRP doesn't owe you anything. Also, yesterday I lost my job, and after 31 years with 4 days notice, nobody owes us anything. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's heartbreaking to read, to be honest. Yeah, I did. I said XRP doesn't owe us anything. I even put it in the title yesterday. 31 years, and they gave you 4 freaking days. You gave them 3 decades, and they gave you 4 days notice. Oh, thanks a lot. It's ever more reason why we've got to get this right. I think that that's going to be a story we're going to continue to hear here time and time again of our own community members, and it's heartbreaking. It's why I took so much time to try to invest in learning in this. I'm not talking about dollars. I'm talking about invest. Well, there was some dollars because it's a lot of experience. I lose a lot to gain a lot sometimes. Gain the knowledge because nobody was teaching me. I had to kind of do trial and error. And I'm not saying that I'm the greatest teacher in the world, but I can tell you I'm going to be the most honest. I'm going to bring a lot of information. If it played the perfect scenario out here, in my opinion, perfect world, yeah, we get rejected finally at the bottom of the breakdown. That's a massive breakdown. And it's not too often that you break all of this down and never retest it. So yeah, in a perfect world, you would get out at 444. In a perfect world. Now we don't know if it's gonna play that way, but my voice is tired. I'm gonna get going. I've put in a lot today, and I want to be able to be here tomorrow. But I can already feel it. If I don't stop talking soon, my voice is gonna go away. So I'm very thankful for all of you. With XRP, that $1.40 is a very big area. It's a very big area that we're going to want to hold. And if we want to avoid this continued drop right now, we've got to get ourselves above that 147 and start pushing that CME FEG gap up there and have a 5-wave correction. It has to. Anything void of this, if we break down from here, and that daily candle yesterday is not beautiful, that is not what you want to see. Because that pulled way too far down on the bottom to be considered, in my opinion, an inverted hammer. So now it's a very important daily candle here to invalidate, because remember, you have a 3 candlestick confirmation. We're on 2. If second and third doesn't right the ship and it confirms that reversal candle that happened in the daily, that closed at 7 with that pull down on that wick, we got 2 days to make this right. And we cannot make a new low. I love H-bar. I do. I like H-bar. I just... Like, if you're talking about macro, here's my hesitancy. I'm speaking macro right now. Where's our macro targets really going to come from? Do we validate the structure we've had for a long time, or do we invalidate the entire thing? Right now, we're okay on H-bar for a move up to where we think is a zone around 12.4 cents for a rejection tap, if we want to come up there. That's validated if we stay on top of this little falling channel that was formed. I think it looks like a channel to me, but it's within a wider area. So the expectation would be if we hold this area, we've got upwards of maybe 20% here. But I really would like to see it reset and tap that 4.7 cents, that 23 low, or 23 or 22. I know it came here in 24. Oh, wait a minute. It did. We have to come back there because this was a little bit lower. Yeah, 22. Then it did it in 23. Did it in 24. But it hasn't completely broken down. We refilled that October 10th wick. And now we're on the breakout side. So, now let it prove it to you. If you bought a swing and you're looking okay, and you want to take the profit now, that absolutely can do that. If you're an XDC, like I said, don't give it all away. If XDC fails to materialize here, we did have a reversal in the daily, however. So I feel pretty good about how it's set up. Nothing's changed from this morning. It's still well within the parameters of a breakout. So nothing's changed by those regards. But if it gives it back, and I put that there for a reason, that red little line down there. Because if you're taking a move here, you got to ride it through that red area no matter where you bought it. But once it breaks that red area, it's not your job to pay their bills. You understand what I'm saying? So, anyhow, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all of the members of Tom's Army, even if you're not, but especially a shout out to the members of Tom's Army for supporting this a little bit deeper, allowing me to do what I have to do ad free, which is a blessing. I haven't put ads on my lives even after in some time, but definitely not during the live in a very long time, thanks to the members of Tom's Army. And love you, Frankie Fresh and Janine, if you're watching. So, how does this go? So very much. I'm an asshole, y'all, but after 3 weeks, that kind of subsided some. I'ma stay true. Hey, Bearded Viking, we all have our moments. I just came off of being an asshole for a little while where I had to self-reflect, where I was too angry. Every little thing was bothering me. Even if it was for good reason, I had to look a little deeper. We all are guilty of that, Bearded Viking. It's not just you. Like Julie tells me sometimes, cut yourself a little bit of slack. We're going through a lot. But it doesn't mean we have to take it out on somebody else or ourselves, kind of thing. I'm staying retired. These jobs don't pay enough to leave the house. I mean, it's true. It's true. Mark Caston said, quick metals, please. Like I said, if we look at the metals right now, I don't want to pull up the commodities or the miners because we have to look into the metal. That's the only reason they're not on, most of them aren't on the list right now, because subjectively, I need to see this outside of my heart, what I love with the commodities and miners. I need to look at it with the metal right now, because I need to know if this is some kind of weird rising wedge or something worse that is forming. And I know I could do it like this, and we could get a clearer look right now. I know we can, but I want to take the evidence that was given here because we have an extra data point. And I want to see if this fills in like this or if it does break down. Like, I need to see. I just need to see. You know, I have to see what's happening here. And if this is a rising wedge, yeah, it could break down. However, if this is just like a rising triangle, and it's not an ascending triangle, it's not a flat resistance. But if this is just something more, but we took the elevator up. So now we would have to take until that eventual drop. If this is a shoulder, how do you invalidate this? Get above this, and then you got to invalidate a double top by getting above there. So with gold, it's tricky. It's very tricky, and the only reason that I liked having it up here too with both areas to look at is because then you can see like this. That's what you need to be above in order to get past that first problem and be able to even pull it out. And now that it gave us the second data point, we can truly look at it like that. That's why I evolved it. But technically, if we fall below this, it could be a fake out. You created your expansion zone, basically your margin of error. And if it falls back below here, even if it's bullish, it's going to give you all the way back down to almost 5,035. And if it breaks that, the whole fear is that we come back to this uptrend at some point, no matter how high it goes, that it'll have to validate that 4,200 to 4,300 zone. That's my fear. My fear with silver is the highest it was going to come up to, and it hasn't come up there yet, but it was going to come up into that liquidity zone at around $93 to $94 and form that ultimate shoulder. Like, I'm still very fearful that they're going to try something in the metals market. Not fearful for myself, but fearful for everybody who's didn't buy in 21, 2, 3, and they bought it in 25 at the top, or 20 or 26 at the top, more precisely. But yeah, so we got to get above 93.71 to break past this area and hold it as support. Otherwise, if we hit that as resistance, we can build something pretty crazy. But yeah, definitely could be something pretty crazy. Mark Cass, thanks for the $2 super chat. You didn't have to do that already in Tom's Army over a year. And then Northern Oil and Gas. I was trying to wait for Emerson, but I don't think he ended up showing up for this live. Down 2.58%. Man, I should have listened to that from the bottom. because that was our speculation that we were going to do a little move like that. Now the question is when we come back, do we hold the back test here? Because it's going to come down and retest that 25 area more than likely with the way the formation looks. And then we just have to see if it holds. I'm still hoping, for selfish reasons, of course, that the market makers in oil, they can't let this just go unabated. So we'll see what happens. It did not take the bottom side, even when it formed this pattern, because all that stuff ended up happening, and it put a premium on here a little bit. So it's possible that the breakout's already happened, and now we're just going to have the push up to that area that I was really hoping to be able to ride, which was, how did we set this up? I think I projected the first area, something like that. It's just a projection. Actually, it would have made more sense if I did something like this. Hold on. I'm trying to build some kind of resistance area based on what we have here, so that I know if it's going to have that big breakout. Ooh, we're right freaking there. Okay. Because then once we break out, if we don't fall back to the bottom, it's a very large pattern that's gone on for a long time. I wanted it to come down here while having this resistance over the top, because it could show an expanding wedge here that started to form on the back end. And that could be extremely bullish. And I've said over and over, I don't know if we could ever get back to $3 unless they do an entire market reset, which we'll see what happens. But I really wanted to see it from a selfish standpoint, because it would have confirmed a possible expanding, broadening wedge. In a different way, though. This isn't exactly, this is a flat support, though. So you'd have a flat support and extending resistance, higher highs with stable lows. They wouldn't increase production without the price increasing. Wouldn't make sense. No, that's true. That's true, Mr. Stott. Yeah, I know oil will run too, Nick, and I'm under the impression, like you are, that it's not going to be anytime soon. It feels more like a trap these days, because oil's history, and you know, history doesn't always rhyme or repeat, but it certainly does rhyme. I'm not oblivious to the fact that this formed a descending wedge almost on this right, what looked like an extended right shoulder. And if that's the case with this inverse pattern, I mean, it could lead to a lot. So I'm not oblivious to what's going on. It's just, it's one of those, I need to see it to believe that this isn't going to do something that the history's always done. Makes this big run up, flat bottom, up, down. Big top, consolidate. But we haven't had that quick flush. We had a little bit here, rebound, but now it created this. It's a little tricky that it created that. So, you know, that's technically a bullish consolidation until it's proven otherwise. So, Saudi did to keep their prop. Yeah. Thanks, Tom, for staying on so long. Oh, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome, Frankie Fresh and Janine and everybody else. But I must call it a day. Farewell to all my friends. I'm glad we were here so long, and I can't wait to build into tomorrow. See, we're building something special here. I can feel it. Be blessed, everybody. Say a prayer for each other. And look out for somebody that you wouldn't even expect to look out for. That's the key.